Run.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to On the Run. And it's a welcome from Manila. I'm still in Manila, although next Friday I will be somewhere else. So I'll let you know where that is next Friday. So let's get straight into the week. I've been in the Philippines this week and the week before and the week before that, and had a chance now to look around the casinos a little bit, look around the resorts, and just some general thoughts on the Philippines. I mean, the place is pumping. It's really, really busy. All the local action is basically back to 100% of what it was pre-pandemic, which is fantastic. Obviously, they haven't got a VIP. They haven't got Chinese VIP back, but there certainly is a lot of Korean VIP play here in the Philippines, and that's great to see. And I think while VIP is not completely fully back because of China, there are Chinese here who are based in the Philippines who are playing. There's Premium Direct, there's Junket, and I'm not talking about any one particular property. I'm talking about all of the properties. Well, not Junket for City of Dreams because they don't have a Junket business anymore. That was their decision not to do that. But look, it's back. It's back. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it get back to 2019 levels. Well, it may be that it won't be the same mix, but the revenue and the EBITDA back to 2019 levels, even in 2023. I think mass is going to play more of a role, but I think VIP is going to be very big, but maybe not so much from China for obvious reasons. We held the Power 50 on Friday last week. I won't talk too much about that because I've talked about that a lot, but it was great. It was really good. So thanks to everybody at City of Dreams, Manila. Thanks to all the sponsors, the 4 Entertainment City properties, the 6 properties or casino concession companies in Macau, suppliers, and all the sponsors and all the people that went. We had a full house. It was a great night at City of Dreams, followed by a great after party at Jakarta, Manila. And, let's see where we have it next year. Will we be back to Macau, or will we be still here in the Philippines, or even somewhere else? Let's see. Congratulations to Francis Lui. He was number 1 yet again, the 4th year running. Now the 6th year he's been number 1 since the Power 50 began. Well deserved, but obviously all the Macau people were down a little bit, and all the Philippines and Singapore people were up a little bit. Australia suffered, of course, with what they've gone through. So let's see what happens next year, and the countdown's already on to next year's event on the 3rd of November 2023. Okay, next on the rundown, which I think is up here. Friday's lead story Friday last week was Macau reserves are down to US 70 billion, down 15%. That's down about 12 billion over the last 18 months. So Macau's burning through about 8 billion a year, but with 70 billion in the bank, well, what's that, 8 or 9 years before it completely burns it through if it's going to continue to go at that rate. So I don't think mainland China is going to be coming to Macau's rescue for anything necessarily in the short term, because they're going to say, well, you've got plenty of money in the bank, why don't you burn through some of that? It's a shame because that money's been built up by the Macau government over the last 20 years, but those reserves are going down, and Macau cannot get money from mainland China. It must use its own money under the one country, 2 systems system. Monday's lead story was the Macau government guessing that the 2023 GGR would be 130 billion MOP. Well, guess what? That's exactly what they guessed the year before and the year before that. So every year at this time of the year, they have to do their budget for next year. And during the pandemic, they've just been coming up with this number, 130 billion. Well, of course, it was nothing like that in 2022. And at the beginning of the year, when I said, look, it could be half of that or even less, I got a few laughs, but no one's laughing now. And in fact, I think, what are we coming in at? I've just gone blank at the moment, but maybe 40 billion, something like that. We'll have to go back to IAG and have a look at the stories, but I know it's well under half, and maybe around a third. So I think the run rate, maybe I mentioned it last week's on the run rate for the 10 months is an annual GGR of 43 billion US for Macau for this year, for 2022, which is, sorry, 43 billion MOP, I should say, which is nowhere near 130 billion MOP, is it, Macau government? So, I don't think we can put much faith in that 130 billion number. I hope it's right. I hope they get more, but I suspect that they will not. Tuesday's lead story, China yet to resume tour groups to Macau, even though it was planned for November 1. Outbreaks in China leading to that. And just like in Hong Kong, where they've gone down to no days of quarantine, but they haven't really seen travel come back yet. Just because you announce tour groups can come back doesn't mean they will, and doesn't mean that the tourists themselves will join those groups. So I think it's still bleak for Macau. Wednesday, our lead story was Bloomberg's Q3 results, up 89% year on year. That's almost double over Q3 last year. Wow. Well done, Solaire. Well done, Bloomberg. Well done to Mr. Razon and Mr. Arasi running that property. And it's great to see. The Philippines is definitely booming, as I said earlier, and Solaire is back. So I think that they'll do even better. Their recovery will continue, and good luck to them and all of the properties in the Philippines. Thursday's win results was the lead story. US $163 million loss, down a little on Q2, up a lot on Q3 last year, in line with kind of what's going on in Macau at the moment. Not too much to say about that. If each of the 4 of the smaller concessionaires are burning through 150 million a quarter, and the bigger concessionaires, the 2 bigger ones, Sands and Galaxy, are burning through, let's say, 350 or something like that a quarter. I mean, we got best part of $1 billion or over $1 billion a quarter there. I think it'll be a little better than that, because Macau is seeing some signs of recovery, which is great. I actually heard from one of the hoteliers the other day that October was nearly a profitable month. If they hadn't had a few bad last days in October, it would have been a profitable month. So that's good. So I think Macau is coming back. I think Macau will eventually track back to about a third of 2019 levels over the next year or 2 or 3. I know that's very bearish compared to other commentators, but that's how I feel. Couple of other quick honourable mentions for the week. Star in Australia received a show cause notice from the Queensland regulator regarding the finding of unsuitability for Star. This is just a continuation of what's been going on in Australia. They've all been very naughty boys down there, and there's upheaval going on, as you've been reading about in IAG over the years. So I wouldn't be surprised if Star finds itself with some kind of monitor of some description in Queensland. And that's going on in Crown and Star, and who knows? Let's see what happens in South Australia with Sky City. Continuing on that theme, Crown got whacked with 120 million Australian in responsible gaming fines. Wow, what a big number. That's got to hurt. At least Kieran down there, Kieran Carruthers, the CEO of Crown, will be able to say this is all from before my time, which it is. But he has to deal with the aftermath. So Crown continues its woes, and it's obvious that the Victorian regulator is not messing around anymore. I thought there was a very interesting story this week also. The club's New South Wales president or chairman, I'm sorry, I don't know the title, Josh Landis, came out and said forcing players playing slot machines, or pokies, of course, as they're known in Australia, to go cashless is almost equating them to criminals. You know, why are we cracking down on the industry so hard? Because there might be some money laundering going on. And he equated that, saying, well, we could get rid of crime tomorrow by everybody staying at home, or we could, let me add one, we could get rid of all car accidents and all deaths and fatalities and injuries through car accidents if nobody ever drove. But we don't do that. It's a question of balance, you know, of comparing utility with risk. And I use the example of alcohol. You know, alcohol, when used dangerously, it can be a real problem and can lead even to death. But do we ban all alcohol? No, we don't, because we know that prohibition doesn't work. That was actually proved in the US in the 1920s. So a question of balance. And he raises a good point. Where is the balance? And I'll leave you to ponder that. See you next week for On the Run. Next Friday, I won't be in Manila. I'll be somewhere else, and I'll let you know where I am next Friday. So in the meantime, have a great week, and we will see you next week on the Run, and bye for now. See ya.
Run.